So Donald Trump confirmed that they're completely modernizing the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, payments inside the United States.
I have an executive order for your attention relating actually to government payments. Historically, checks issued by the Treasury are, I believe, 14 times more likely to become the subject of fraud than electronic transfer payments. This is an executive order that's going to push the Treasury Department to modernize its payment system to ensure that where possible they're using electronic methods of payment as opposed to paper checks in order to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, which is obviously an endeavor that we've been pursuing in numerous aspects of government under your leadership.
And also, starting August 1st, roughly 1 week from right now, payments will start for the tariffs coming back into the United States. And if you guys remember this, when Donald Trump officially signed a strategic economic partnership with Saudi Arabia, well, it's no coincidence why Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati met with Donald Trump before XRP was added to the digital asset stockpile, also including Solana and Cardano. So when Donald Trump says they have other modernization programs, well, it's no coincidence why in this video he's talking about payments through the banking system. So what company, what technology is specializing in this? Well, that's Ripple, and that's the cryptocurrency XRP.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that?
And now CEO of Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz, made a shocking prediction that you need to hear about. So we're going to talk about Ethereum to Bitcoin's price chart, also Bitcoin to the global liquidity index, and Donald Trump's plans with tariff income that is going to absolutely skyrocket the crypto market, on top of the Genius Act that was just signed, what it means for corporate companies, Fortune 500 companies, with stablecoins, and when alt season is expected to start for the people that think the bull run is over. Well, we are just getting started for the next major phase that is going to absolutely melt faces. So if you guys are holding altcoins right now, this is going to be one of the most important videos that you watch this month. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So Donald Trump signing executive orders to completely modernize payments in the United States. Well, with tariffs hitting August 1st, these other countries are going to start having to pay billions back to the United States.
The date that you gave of August 1st, right. Why stick with the date if you're saying that
payments start on August 1st. The only thing about that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start. So they have to start paying billions of dollars to you and people. Are you a citizen of the country? Yes, all right, good. You'll be very happy because you're going to be getting a lot of money.
So Trump is just making these massive power moves. And so I think the crypto market is far from over this bull run. And as they pave the rails for the new financial system, well, everyone knows that Ripple and XRP is going to be at the center of it all. The real question is when, not if, because it's undeniable at this point. Listen to this.
Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that?
Seriously, guys, who would have thought Donald Trump would be saying that? So what's the state-of-the-art crypto technology that can upgrade the whole entire financial system? Resistance right here. And sure enough, that's pretty much what we saw. Bitcoin was right here, and we saw a bounce back into this descending resistance, and then Bitcoin selling off further to Bitcoin actually dropped even below that and came down to 114. And now we're coming back up into this zone right here to test it as resistance. And so because we flipped support at about 116, even support all the way back here at about 115, these zones right here need to be reclaimed as support in order for Bitcoin to remain bullish. Otherwise, there's going to be massive sell pressure here as the stochastic RSI gets closer and closer to 100 for another bearish cross. So I would err on the side of caution, just aping in right now, because we just broke through support and now we're back testing it as resistance. And so personally, I would just wait for Bitcoin to clear this zone right here and then hold it as support while the stochastic RSI resets all the way down here below 20. Also, the relative strength index is sitting at 49. So I'm leaning a little more bearish in the short term right now for Bitcoin, and I would want to see it clear around $116,000 and just hold it for, a day or two on end, as this massive liquidity flush is taking place of long traders right now. So odds are in favor of a bearish move to the downside actually for Bitcoin. Now, it could not take place this way, but we just look at probabilities and we also look at confluence here. You have to be adaptive. You can't be rigid with the market. You can't be like, oh, we're just going to go up forever. No, you're going to get wrecked. You have to look at confluence on these key indicators, and you have to see where we're at to determine your investing strategy. If I just clear the chart right here, and if you're just using confluence across the stochastic RSI and the relative strength index, what you want to look for is very, very simple to get better entry points. You want to look for both these key indicators to be as close to zero as possible, or let alone below 20. So for example, on the stochastic RSI, we were all the way down here while the relative strength index dropped to about 24 on the hourly chart. And sure enough, where was price? Price was at around $115,000. Now, what we want to look for that I talked about in previous videos is divergences. And so I'll just explain a bullish divergence again for you guys so you can truly understand how to get the best possible entry point, not just based on confluence on being oversold on indicators, but using confluence of being oversold on indicators with a bullish divergence, which further increases confluence of a better entry point for a bullish reversal. All right. So you might need to rewind that 10 to 20 seconds to listen to that a few times over so it makes sense for you, because when you pair up confluence on oversold conditions, stack that on top of a bullish reversal, then, or a bullish divergence, then you guys could be able to get even better entry points. Because if you're just buying when we're oversold, for example, if I zoom in here for you on Bitcoin's price chart, you can see right here on this breakdown for Bitcoin, as I predicted in my video yesterday. Well, look what happened on the key indicators here. The stochastic RSI formed a bearish cross up here above 80 when the price was around $119,000. Also, the relative strength index was at 54. A lot of people that are coming in and they're buying at a point like that and they're not looking at these key indicators get absolutely wrecked. And that's not my opinion. That's actually just a fact. Look at the price chart. You guys can verify this for yourselves. So I'm not BSing you here. You can look at every single candle. You can see how much Bitcoin dropped over the period of, let's just measure it, or the period of 15 hours, it dropped 4%. So it's not the craziest drop, but nonetheless, you want to get a better entry point, right? So when you look at these indicators reset down here below 20, if you're just buying when we're down here, for example, you see we drop all the way down here to 0 pretty much, then we form a bullish cross. Also, the relative strength index dropped down to about 29. Let's say you're buying at 29. Well, you would have been buying Bitcoin at anywhere between $117,000 right here at support, thinking that we're going to bounce to the upside, which, you know, arguably is a better entry point than $119,000, but it's not the best entry point. Or you would have been buying all the way down to about $115,000, anywhere between this range. So you would be like halfway to break even if you like kind of bought right in the middle. You know what I mean? So how do you get an even better entry point? You use divergences stacked with oversold conditions for confluence. And so first thing that I look at is, are we oversold down here? The answer is yes. The answer is yes for the relative strength index as well too. Now, what do we want to look for? We want to look for a lower low on the price chart. Boom, right here. We see a lower low on the price chart and a higher low on these key indicators. So what do we see right here? We see a higher low on the relative strength index right here. Sorry, the stochastic RSI right here. We see a higher low on the relative strength index as well at 28 versus 23. So when we see that happen and we see this higher low come in on these indicators, it shows that momentum is shifting from bearish momentum right here to eventually bullish momentum to the upside. Now, the key to understand here is now that we are experiencing bullish momentum to the upside and we are coming back into the zone of resistance right here, I do not like to buy into resistance while we're all the way up here in overbought conditions on the stochastic RSI and the relative strength index is in the middle of a range. So we're neither oversold nor are we overbought on the relative strength index. So that alone for me, I just don't take trades usually when that happens, right? Even though Bitcoin could technically break out and let's say you buy right now and it blasts all the way up here and does something like this, then continues higher. Yes, you'd be getting a good entry point, but you're just guessing at that point and you're not using really a good strategy for yourself buying into a resistance like this when indicators are in overbought conditions. That's not smart. You want to look for divergences because had you have bought that divergence, you would have been buying Bitcoin at around $114,000 down here at the low while the stochastic RSI was making a higher low and the relative strength index was making a higher low, the price chart was making a lower low. And if you just look at this divergence cheat sheet right here, it's exactly what a regular bullish divergence is. Price chart makes a lower low in blue and the indicators make a higher low. And we had confluence as well too across both indicators making higher lows. So that even strengthens the bullish divergence. Let's say we just had a bullish divergence on the relative strength index, but the stochastic RSI was making a lower low with the price chart. Well, it's still a bullish divergence. It's just not confluence across two indicators. So when you see confluence like this, it's an even stronger trade. It's an even better trade for yourself. So now that you guys know that, well, let's look at XRP's price chart and let's compare it to Bitcoin and what we're seeing right here and how we saw, a bearish divergence on Bitcoin's price chart compared to XRP. Also, I broke this down in my video yesterday. I talked about the most likely bottoming formation for XRP before we break back to the upside compared to what happened for Bitcoin. So I'll slow it down for you. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see Bitcoin's price chart. We made a higher high right here from the 7th of January to the 22nd of February. What happened on the relative strength index? We went from 89 overbought conditions all the way down here to 79. That's the start of a bearish divergence. Now, a bearish divergence might not just be one point of contact on the price chart and the indicators. It might be 2, 3, 4 as the price slows down in momentum before dropping, but we still form higher highs. So for example, from the 22nd of February until roughly the 14th of March, we formed another higher high on the price chart. Look at what happened on the relative strength index. We formed another lower high. So that's, boom, 1 point of contact, 2 points of contact for a bearish divergence. Now you can see momentum is slowing down a little bit. It's not as drastic of a higher high, but what happened here from the 14th of March until the 14th of April? We formed another higher high for 3 points of contact. At this point, when you see the third point of contact and you're still in a bearish divergence, that is a very strong sign